What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And unfortunately, Levon could not make it this week, but definitely action-packed week. Definitely tune in Monday and Tuesday, our topics where we talk about a camera bug that was not disclosed for almost like 2.5 years, through almost 3 years. We talk about the House passing the cybercrime bill that's different than the previous one. So this one has to do with metrics and the FBI. And then today is our discussion. So we don't have a question. It's going to be a rhetorical question, but this one comes from The Verge. It's all about Lapsus, how pronounced anyway, LAPSUS $. The cyber gang / ransomware group. They've been busy. So I tried to wait on this article or this discussion and try to get kind of a timeline together, because at one point they were arresting people, letting them go. They thought they had the right person, they didn't. So I think the timeline is current as of now. But for all those who are not tracking, so Lapsus has been very busy. They've attacked NVIDIA, they've attacked Samsung and stolen some of their source code. They hit up Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you pronounce it. Recently, they were part of the Okta, is how I pronounce it, OKTA, Okta breach that put thousands of companies on alert. My whole Twitter timeline was full of people like, this is worse than Log4j or Log4j, whatever I want to pronounce that. They stole some source code from Microsoft. It's wild. And there's some Apple stuff in there too. But apparently the ransomware gang is comprised mostly of teenagers, is what's being believed. At one point they arrested 7, then they released them, and now they believe they have 3, and they believe they have the ringleader out of the UK. So it's pretty wild, but they've been wreaking havoc since the pandemic started. They're just hitting everybody up. Again, so many high-profile companies. So you have NVIDIA, Samsung, Microsoft, Vodafone. For all those who have ever been stationed anywhere in Europe, Vodafone is like almost T-Mobile. Everybody has Vodafone over here. Ubisoft, the big one being the Okta contractor's laptop, and pulling the data off of that will impact thousands of companies as that information is released. So what are your thoughts on this? Like, what is going on?
So we should have figured out it was teenagers just by the targets, right? EA Games, they're suspected for the EA Games one. Like, we should have figured out it was teenagers then. But like, hey, why are we looking for adults? We should be looking for kids, right? But like, my thought on this is that this is why you should still discipline your kids, and timeouts don't work. That's what my thought is on this, right? So like, but to be serious though, right? So like you were talking about with them being arrested and then released and whatnot. So here's a question I have. It's not necessarily cybersecurity related, but these are all teenagers, right? Now, I'm not going to say adults or whatever. Like, I don't know the ages specifically, if they're 18 or older or whatever. And in some countries, 18 may not even be considered an adult, right? It may be 21 or 16, like whichever way it goes, right? But do we think we should necessarily be easier on them because they're teenagers in this digital age, where even if you don't think they know right from wrong, they have the ability to figure out right from wrong easier than what it used to be, right? Parents aren't really raising their children now, right? I'm not saying this across the board, right? But a lot of them are being left. These teenagers that are doing this, like, they are very, very skilled at what they're doing. And it's because they have, this is the digital age, and they've had a computer at their hands, since they were born,
right.
And the ability to get that knowledge is just, at what point do we say, okay, we have to start thinking that maybe some of these children, and again, I know the whole right from wrong thing, right? Usually it comes from your parents, or it used to. They should know better at this point. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't know. Like I go back and forth on it. So like the parents of these kids may not even understand what they've done or how they've been doing it. Like I remember reading one article, it was like, I thought he just was playing video games. They probably did. Like these we keep calling them kids, like they could be young adults. I really don't know the ages. I don't think they disclosed it, honestly, because there's certain laws where you cannot um uh give the identity and characteristics of a child.
I know it's like that in America. In
Yeah.
America, like if they're a minor, you'll just see,
Right. And if the one kid did come out the UK, their laws are even more strict, right? When it comes to data privacy. So I doubt we'll hear anything until they go up for trial. Um, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, the parents, because they probably did not understand or know what's going on. They probably still know what's going on. You're doing what? You're doing the hacking? Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like you should know what's going on. Like I got the password to all my kids' accounts, but if I was not as tech savvy, would I understand like what they have done or far reaching? Like they still have to, there has to be some kind of punishment because they've caused millions of dollars of damage, uh, and potentially billions. Like after we find out what's going on with the whole Okta situation, that gets kind of underway because there's people grinding right now to protect themselves against it. There has to be some kind of repercussions and what have you. I just don't know if there should be such thing as a line between the two, adult versus kid, in the digital age. Like there has to be some difference, but I don't know what that is because they still cost millions of dollars of damage. It's kind of like if they were in a tank rolling down the street, crushing cars and running the buildings, right? It's a lot of money has been spent.
So I think we agree. I'm not relaying my point correctly then, because yes, I agree. I think they should be charged as adults, right?
I don't know
And
if
I'm
they
not
should be
even.
charged adults
I
though.
I 100% do. Like I don't think the parents are necessarily at fault. Should the parents have paid more attention? Yes, right? I do think that's the case, but I'm
Right.
not going to sit here and say because the parents didn't pay attention, the children don't know the difference between right and wrong.
Well, no, I'm
Because
not saying that at all. I'm just like your brain is not fully developed, right? So I think it goes into a little bit of just criminology in general, right? They do know the difference between right and wrong, but they don't understand repercussions and times like we do. Like, what did the guy get that we reported a couple weeks ago? He got like so many years in jail. What was it? Was it like 100 years or something like that? Something ridiculous. The
which one was it?
the the one ransomware guy, they caught him in he was extradited back to Texas or to Texas. He was overseas. I think he was like in the Ukraine or something like that, and he escaped and went to a different country, and then we extradited him and brought him to Dallas. I think he got like he's going to potentially get hundreds, like 100 years. It's like so many millions of dollars and like up to 100 years in prison. I can't remember how much time he potentially get, but we're like, crime ain't worth it at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so like even I feel that's ridiculous, right? Like um that's a lot of time. Like you're just gonna die in jail. Like what did you learn? Like it's not reform at that point. Like for a kid to get let's say something as small, quote unquote, as 25 years. 25 years? You know what I mean? Like that's not reform. I don't know how you fix it though. Because like, okay, either you're getting money or you're getting time or you're getting both when it comes to a sentence. But to give a child like that much time, like we're just making up because we don't know how much time they'll get. But like adults get like time. Like it's not, they're not playing around anymore. Like you're gonna spend the rest of your life in jail. For a child, I don't know if that's worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, but
They're not getting or not disciplined, they're not getting corrected at that point, like the correctional facility, right? They're not getting corrected at that point. They're just being punished for something that they could not fathom the consequences.
okay, so I this would be a different podcast altogether if we talk about how the
Like
prison
prison
system is
reform.
not really
Yeah.
reformed. Right, exactly. It's be a different podcast altogether. I don't really
Right.
want to I don't want to jump into that one. But
Gotcha.
but even now the way it is though in America, I'll speak from in America because I'm not too familiar with what's going on overseas, but like a lot of
Yeah.
these times they only hold these children until they become adults and then they're done, right? So if a child is 16, they may do 2 years and then they're out there and they may have some type of probation or whatever, but
Right. Can't touch
what
a
are they,
computer ever again.
Right. But what do they learn from that? Right. Like, okay, well, I just got to be, you know, be smarter to not get caught. I don't know. I don't know. I think I think we should be getting past the point you made was that their brains aren't really developed yet. I'm saying they're developing faster because of the means they have at their hands. They're not looking through encyclopedias to learn stuff like we used to when we were doing school
Right.
projects, right? We had a book, you had a stack of encyclopedias, you looked through a book, and that's how you got it, right? Like they could do it from a laptop or a phone to find out whatever it is they need to
Yeah.
see, right? Hopefully they're not just getting it from social media because we know how that can go, right? But
Yeah.
that's not where they're getting
They,
all their.
they reported that though, because like, and there's skill there too that can be could potentially utilized. I can't trip over my words.
Yeah.
Because they thought one kid was a machine. Like they literally thought he was a
Yeah.
bot.
Yeah.
That's how good he was and how
They
quick he
thought
was.
they thought he was automated. Yeah, I remember I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I was like, man, that's it'll be wasted talent to tell me he can never touch another keyboard. Him or her, we don't know.
Right.
So it's like, it's like make them. It's like Halo. Make them part of the Spartan program. Like make them work for the government for the rest of their life. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want. Like, I definitely want to discourage crime, but I don't want to lock kids up forever. So it's like
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
you gotta be careful with that though, right? So like if you start hiring them on in the government agencies, like they don't seem like they're the type to conform anyway, right? So you could be just asking for trouble.
Yeah, it sounds like a big budget Hollywood movie. Like they're in shackles on the plane. It was like, all right, we'll let you go if you hack X, Y, and Z.
It's
It's like
it's
it's
like
like triple X.
Swordfish and
Yeah,
the one with Hemsworth. Black Hat was the one with him.
yeah,
Hemsworth.
yep,
Yeah. So it's like those, right? Like, okay,
yeah,
you work for us now. Do this for us. Yeah.
right. Like just to utilize that talent because this is things they're on defense. Like how much they uh they could be protecting companies. That now you work for these top 5 companies for the rest of your life, but then and you make minimum wage. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. To be honest with you, it's impressive as well as shocking and obviously upsetting because there's a lot of people who are putting in a lot of hours to circumvent or protect themselves from what these kids did, especially with the Okta situation. So it's kind of like there has to be something disciplinary wise has to come out of it because millions of dollars and thousands of hours are being spent right now. So that I don't know. We will see. Then we could debate about the when they give them their potential sentence. We can debate about that. Which I'm not laughing because they're going to about to be punished. I'm just like that's the court of opinion, right? That's what we are right now. Because I don't know. I honestly like I have to see what the tally is. It's going to be in the millions, if not billions. Um, once they get all the fallout um, tallied. So it's crazy. It's just some teenagers. It's wild. But we'll see what comes out of it. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and land the episode. Thank you for tuning in. Definitely check out Monday and Tuesday, our topics. This was our Wednesday discussion. No Ask Us SP this week, but I hope to reboot that pretty soon. Fridays are the weekly rundown, so definitely tune into that one. We'll talk about everything except for I didn't see the Spider-Man movie yet, or not Spider-Man, Morbius. I haven't seen Morbius yet. I may see it later today. We'll talk about it. But hit up all of our socials. They all go by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and TikTok. And Levon can be found at Levon Maynard on Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.